Hey guys, today I'm going to be making a video on winner variation, and basically what it is, if you don't already know, is it orients your corners while you insert your last pair. So that means if you have your edges oriented already, you'll get an OLL skip when you do the case. So that's where it's helpful for, is your last slot and edges are already oriented, you will get an OLL skip, which is really nice. And there's 27 algorithms and they're all pretty easy to learn. Some of them are just stuff like insert and then soon. Not all of them are like that, but a few of them are, so that means it's really easy to learn. So yeah, just get right into the video. The first case I'm going to be talking about is this one. It's very easy to recognize. Everything on the top is oriented except the nothing right here, because that's where the F2L slot is. So that's really easy to recognize. And then I do. The next case is the easiest of them all. I recognize basically this little yellow block here and all of the yellow up top right here. And all it is R, U prime, R prime. The next case is this one, and I recognize it similar to the last one. All of this yellow up here, and there was a yellow block right here, but now that corner is oriented right here, so you won't see the matching pair right here, and then you do. For this next case, I recognize that there's this little like L type thing going on right here. And what I really look at is this corner back here. There's two cases like this, and what makes it vary is the corner back here. Either it can be pointing to the right or it's going to be pointing in the back. In this case it's going right, and then I do this. Here's the next one. Like I said, the difference is that this corner is pointing that way instead of to the right. And this one is really simple. All you need to do is insert U2 anti-soon. Here's the next one, and it's just like the last case we were looking at, where this corner is the one that matters. I basically just recognize that all the corners up here are oriented except for the one right here because the F2L slot's there. So this corner is the one that matters because it's the only one that's oriented different. So for this one it's pointing back, but there's also one where it points left. For this one you do. This is a very simple one. Like I said, the difference for this case is the corner is pointing to the left now. All you need to do is... Okay, so now we're on to the set where there's only two corners oriented up top. Before there was just one, now it's two. So you recognize these back two. And for this one, I recognize that that one's pointing that way and that one's pointing that way. So nothing really fancy about that. Then there's another one where this corner points that way and this one points that way. But for this one, all you need to do is... Okay, so here's that next one. Like I said, this one's pointing back, that one's pointing left now. Before it was the other way around. That one was pointing that way, that one was pointing right. And then for this one, you do. For this one, I recognize that these two are headlights and they're pointing to the back. And then I do. For this one, I recognize that it's the chameleon eyes and they're pointing left and right. So you can see it right there. And then I do this. For this one, I recognize that these two corners are diagonal and that one is pointing towards me and the other one is pointing away from me. And then I do this. For this one, I recognize that this corner right here is pointed towards me and that this one is pointed to the left before it was going to the back, and then I do this. For this one, I recognize that this corner is pointed to the right and this one is pointed to the back, and then I do this. For this one, I recognize that both of these corners are facing opposite directions. This yellow is going that way and this one's going that way, and then I do this. For this case, I recognize that this corner is pointed to the right and this one's towards me, and then I do this, which just sets up into this case. Here's the opposite of that case. Now this corner is pointing to the right and this one's pointing to the back, and then I do this. For this one, I recognize that these two corners right here are headlights and they're pointed to the right, and then I do this. For this one, I recognize that it's the chameleon eyes and they're going different directions, so this one's towards me and that one's away from me, and then I do this. Okay, so now we're to the zero corners oriented, and how I recognize this one is just the corners are set up like soon. So if you know how to recognize soon, that's exactly what these corners are, and then I do this. For this one, I recognize that there's two headlights right here going to the right, and then this corner is pointing to the back, and then I do this. For this one, I recognize that the corners are almost like soon. These first two are the same, and then normally this one is pointing that way, but now it's pointing to the right. Then I do this. For this one, I recognize that there's headlights right here, and then over here this corner is pointing the opposite direction. Before it was going that way, and then I do this. For this next case, I recognize that there's headlights in back, and then one corner facing me, and then you do this. Okay, so for this one I recognize that there's the chameleon eyes right here, and then this corner is facing that way, and then I do this. For this one, I recognize that there's headlights in back, but now this corner is facing to the right instead of in front of me, and then I do this. For this one, I recognize that the corners are set up like anti-soon, so here, here, and here. So you just recognize them like anti-soon, and then I do this.